Yo, what up? This is your boy Solo. Now we're back here again with another episode. And today is going to be about you know, how humans should be interacting with each other and the environment that we're in, and how we should be respectful, respectful towards ourselves, towards other individuals, and the environment we live in, the world we live in, and how we take proper action to make sure our society should be in peace and harmony, and the right economy to be able to prosper and live in peace, basically. So humans in general got comfortable with how they living, whether they accepted it or not. Just because you got comfortable with the way you're living doesn't mean that living condition is unfair and harsh, because it is harsh towards a lot of individuals, and a lot of individuals don't make it in the system because the system is made for you to fail, and it actually pushes you to work, go to school, work, and get a job, and so on. Repeat the same routine. And that is a big distraction from God and what's really going on. We wasn't put on earth to just work and keep doing the same slave labor routine from the system that was implemented here by colonizers. And long story short, colonizers just gave you religion and science, and now you're soaking in all these knowledge that they gave you, and yet the world is still in a compromised situation where people don't really interact with each other or get along, even though they learn the same shit, they learn the same knowledge. It's still a huge obstacle for people to get along, or there's intimidation energies of interaction, not enough support and love, and it's just people just living according to their own belief system and how they think for themselves. So long story short, people just think for themselves and for their own family, and they just keep on doing the same routine, work, job, work, and they don't just question reality. People just blindly accept their fate and know nothing about death at all. And that's a huge concern when it comes to people who do know, people who are gravitating towards changing the world in a better way. But people cannot really change the world. They can only change themselves, and can only set that example so people can see it. And it's up to the individual to do that shadow work and to have that search for going that spiritual journey, and in search for a deeper truth within themselves. So when people accepted their fate, when it comes to how they accepted religion and science is a form of religion as well. So you think that's all you need, you think there's nothing more out there, you think your oppressors, your scientists know everything, and that's the end all be all, which is not the case, because you are also an individual who's capable enough to go on a spiritual journey within yourself. You have tools within yourself, you have all possibilities within yourself to go and dwell deeper and find out your true individuality, so you can understand yourself better and the environment better, and why things work the way it is. And it goes deeper beyond religion and science and whatever imagination or biases out there. But it takes self-belief, intent and dedication to go on that journey for yourself. It takes a lot of meditation. It takes a lot of not only just mental health, physical health, spiritual health, discipline. It takes a lot of work. So if people do this for themselves, we can change the world in a very short time span. But people don't like to listen. People are just too distracted with their routine, with their money, with their selfish desires. Because that's the thing, most people are just selfish with their desires, and they got comfortable in that world. And based on that comfortability, that's how we shape the world. We are spiritual beings shaping our world based on how we feel, how we think about our environment, how we soak in our knowledge, the information that the colonizers gave us, and how we feel about that is how we shape the world. So people thinking that death is at the end stage of living here on earth is truly mistaken, because you better make sure you're right and I'm wrong, because reincarnation is real. Reincarnation, when we see life in general, nature, we see spirits coming into existence, we see life, death, and what seems like rebirth. Spirits, a lot of people witness spirits who are baby spirits who grow up at a young age, and they seem very intelligent more than other spirits. As you can see at elementary school, there's just certain kids who are just way more advanced and intelligent than other kids, and that's just the truth. This deals with the spirit experiencing a lot of life the same way we are experiencing life right now. That's the experience that we're making on earth. We are creating earth as a collective. Everything, the plants, the trees, the insects, the bugs, we are creating ourselves, and we are creating God. But God has already expanded. We just live within God. And it's just a reincarnation cycle of evolution that we're going through. This is how we became human. Maybe, I just went too far and jumped ahead, but I'm trying to make it make sense for individuals who are trying to make it sense for themselves too, or have an open mind. So this is an evolutionary thing that we're going through, and the people in power who are controlling you are keeping a lot of information away from you and suppressing you, because they want you to keep coming back here and keep working for them and keep being slaves. And you might be an individual having all these thoughts, why am I here? Why am I in this physical existence? Why do we have to work on a planet that's meant to be lived and enjoyed? But we should also have a healthy economy, not a economy or a system that is always hard on you and giving you so many limitations and obstacles with little ass pay. And we're gonna keep coming back here and experiencing the same routine if people are not willing to get out of their beliefs and their desires to make a change for themselves, because it's up to the individual to make that change. So as a, as an individual, you partner up with a female to bring a person into this world. And this deals with bringing spirits in, the masculine and the feminine energy, and the spiritual aspects of the spiritual aspects of the masculine and feminine energies is just, to make it simple, your thoughts, your mental state, the way you travel in your mind, your mentality, your visions. That is the masculine energy. That's how the spirit created an intelligence, which is the mind, to astral travel, to fly with the mind. You're doing this with your dreams. So this is how the spirit is creating itself. The spirit created an intelligence because that's how it has to be. That's how everything is forming. That's how everything is navigating. It's like a travel. It's like a mental travel. The spirit is creating an image, an idea, a vision, and it's bending into adrenaline blood fluid, and that fluid turns into our environment, into physicality. And this is what we're all doing together inside of God. God is also experiencing life for itself the same way we are experiencing life for ourselves right now, in a different physical dimension experience that we cannot perceive, the same way we cannot perceive the spirits inside of us. The spirits inside of us cannot perceive, how we are, because it might have a good idea of how it is. There's always going to be, the same way I'm intelligent right now and others as well, there's spirits inside of you who are intelligent and it's aware of, the universal astrology of its God. And, it's possible to understand a higher knowing if people just get out of their beliefs and their desires, their greed, their, retardation, and seek a more important truth that brings us together and be more relatable. Because reality is really synthetic. It's just, people do not know themselves. People do not put God first. And when I mean God, not in a religious term. God is the spirit creating our natures. The natures is us. We are nature animated into physical existence. And, the spirit is creating a mentality. That mentality jumps into an image, which is a feeling, an emotion, and that emotion is dense. It becomes heavy. That's emotions is vibrations. It becomes vibrations is more dense and becomes physical. And this is a cycle that we're going through, that we are traveling towards as human species and stuff like that, animals, and interacting with each other. And this knowledge is very simple to understand if people just meditate. So yeah, people need to be more considerate when it comes to the world we live in, and these politicians making decisions for us. And there's people out here smarter who can implement better decisions and ideas and opportunities to make a world a better place. And we can't, all these people who are lost and unintelligent and always want to be trolls are not doing nothing good. These are literally spirits that have been born by the retardation of the system, the government. And these spirits represent like McDonald's, McDonald's type spirits, Willy Wonka type spirits, Teletubby type spirits. What else? Yo Gabba Gabba type spirits, Barney type spirits. All these, all these spirits that have been born throughout the system, within the system. These are not natural individuals, because everything has to be, with honor, and there has to be spirits with honor. It can't be too much goofing around, too much memes, too much funniness. Everything has to be a balance. Everybody in this world wants to be on some goofy, funny shit and never take things serious, and that's why the government gets away with things, with what they're getting away with. What they're saying in the news, people actually buy into that, and people don't have a mind for themselves. They're like I said, they're too comfortable with how they're navigating through this astral travel, aka this physical existence that we are accumulating. And there's just spirits like myself who bring in the knowledge to make you more aware, and hopefully people get the picture. But nonetheless, this spiritual journey is for my evolution as well. It's for my advancement. And regardless if people listen or not, I'm doing this for myself, and I gotta help myself for that at the end of the day if people are not listening. But whoever listens, whoever gets it, and hopefully people, and I know people out there who are getting it. But at this pace, people need to wake up, because if people don't wake up to their ignorant beliefs and how they think they see things is right for them, we have to take consideration with our environment, the people around us, and the nature around us, the world, because the world is your home. The world is God. God gave us if you're into whatever beliefs you are, you should know God gave us this earth. We're living here, and we should take care of it. And that goes for the government too. Wake your ass up, because you're not intelligent. You're lost in your mind. You made people lost in their minds, and I already know the type of hell these type of spirits go to. So with that being said, I'm gonna leave it at that, and I'll catch you later. Peace.